Hey everyone, how's it going? I am here at my parents' house because they have some good trees for climbing. And the reason for that is because I do not have that much great deer content to show you. I've gotten to some great sign, I've kicked up some shooters, I've moved some deer around, and I've seen deer, but just not a lot, like from the tree stand where I had the camera set up and could get them on film. So the gist of it is I think I was pushing really hard into some of these spots. It's a lot of new ground. I still haven't even gotten down to some of my favorite spots to hunt. So since I've been hunting these newer pieces, I've been pushing around a lot, looking for sign. I found a lot of good sign. If I have success there, I think it's going to be more in the rut just because I've been pushing around, not really worried about jumping deer, and then just kind of ending up in spots that I felt good about. But I think at those points, it already pushed through some of the good stuff, or maybe the wind when I was scouting was blowing into the areas it shouldn't have, and stuff like that. So I'm not overly concerned about the fact that I have not seen too many deer in those areas. You know, I just think I wasn't going at them with enough patience. You know, just kind of ramming through them to try to figure out what I could figure out, and I'm definitely happy with the sign that I found. So here I am. I'm going to show you a little bit of that content, which once again doesn't have a lot of deer content, but I'll show you some of the areas I was hunting, etc. And then when you come back, I will go up this tree because so many people have been asking me about the gear I've been using, which is my Latitude saddle, and now I've switched to a double step instead of the Primal V step. So people have been asking a lot of questions, and I am now going to show you in this video. My walk is pretty short. Spot. Okay, you guys, here I am. I'm about to go up this maple right here. I'll show you how I get up with my double steps, the aider that I use, the saddle that I use, etc., etc. And so let's just start by going through my gear. Here it is. Okay, so here is my saddle. I am using the Method saddle from Latitude Outdoors. They do have a Method 2 now, which it just has some newer features, like on the side here where the two panels clip together. You don't have this piece of plastic anymore. It's magnets that holds it up. It's stuff like that that just took it to the next level, and it's even nicer now. But this is the one that I have. I also have a Classic 2, which is the rebuild of the original Classic that they have, and I'm going to be playing around with that a little bit. But I really like the two-panel system that they have here. It's very similar to what I used when I was an arborist, climbing trees and such. So it just was really comfortable and easy for me to transition to, and it makes me feel really comfortable up in the tree. You can adjust things to be a little bit more comfortable. You get a little bit more lumbar support, slide your seat down, make your seat small. You can do, there's just a lot of adjustability in it, and that's what I like the most about it. So this is the saddle that I'm using. These are just two pouches that I got from Army Navy Surplus that were matching and were the same size. So on this side, since I'm a righty, I have the stuff that I'm going to get out immediately because it's not awkward for me to grab when I'm on the ground. I mean, so here I have my lineman's belt, and then I have my aider that I will put on, which is this nader, which is just like a knee aider. It's got a little hook on it right here, and it goes down over my foot. Like I said, all the stuff that I get out at the bottom of the trees on this side, lineman's belt, etc. On my right side, because I'm a righty, so it's more comfortable and easy for me to maneuver with a single hand a little bit off to my side. This is where I have my tether. I have hooks for my gear in the tree, etc., etc. So this is what my pack looks like walking in most times. Just a pretty standard pack with hip straps. In here, I will have my saddle platform, which I use the Predator platform from Tethered. And then here are the new steps that I'm using, and these are the Novix or Trophyline mini sticks. 4 of them. I could probably get away with just 3 of them a lot of time, but I've been running all 4. They're really light. Not sure the exact specs on them. If I look it up, I'll throw it in the picture here. But they're super light, super compact. They pack together with a little, there's a drilled hole in the back of each step and a piece that protrudes out of the Versa button, and then they can go around them here on the ends. So I have a system in which I go up the tree. I won't get too in depth on it because everyone kind of gets their own thing, but One of these does have a buckle on it, and then I also use one of the straps to have everything stay really nice and tight. And then because of that, I will normally put the one with the buckle on the bottom of the tree, just because it's got more stuff that could be clanking around as I go up. And then my second one up is normally the one that I just unstrapped. The other two then are still held together the way that I come down the tree, so they're really clean and easy to put on and off of my saddle. So when I come up to a tree, like I said, I normally put this one on the bottom just because it already has that clip there. Sometimes I'll clip it back here just so it's one less thing sliding around, flopping around on the tree. But what I tend to do, unless the tree is super small, I'll hook this loop onto here, and that way I can reach around the back side of the tree. Sometimes it falls off, but this will give me a little bit extra reach. Then I bring this back over to itself. And naturally, I picked the only tree that is too big to do this video. Well, we're gonna have to make a move here, kids. Okay, now we're at a tree that's a little bit more usable. So I'll loosen this up and show you a little bit of my process. So once again, I take the strap that has a little buckle on it. I just use that on the bottom, just so I go through my steps the same every single time. I'll come up to the tree. I'll get it strapped in right here. Tighten it up. And because of this nader that I'm using, I put it a little bit higher, about as high as I can get my knee comfortably. Now obviously I could get my knee up even higher, but this is the more comfortable way to do it. And mind you, I'm also not trying to be that quiet because I'm just showing you guys. But we get to right here. The nader hook gets right onto there. I drive my toe into the tree. If I have to, I kind of pull down and get that locked in a little bit more. And then I make my next step up, etc., etc. So one small thing that I've done is I have added these little loops that you probably didn't see me pop my step off of. Always wear your lineman's belt while you're doing this. But I have these small little gear loops on the sides of my saddle, which I just made out of shoestring. You could use pretty much any kind of paracord or anything like that to make them. But what it allows me to do is have my step right here just kind of hanging from this and keep working my way up the tree every time. So that's what I would do. Take the next one off, put it here, and keep going. But for the sake of time, I'm going to drop down one step and then show you my platform. Okay, so now most times I'll either work like this, with my 1 foot in my aider still, or if I feel like I still need to get that extra height, I'll step up onto the step or even the top step. I tend to like to have it where I at least have the top step to grab onto if I had to. But like I said, so this is just kind of a comfortability thing. It's not too often that I need to get much higher than whatever this step is at, but if I have to at times, I will step onto this, have my lineman's belt on, and then work with my platform. So I just have your standard, the original Predator platform. Got some gear ties on here just to hold it all together. I can open that up. I kind of just keep these twisted so they don't fall off. Let that come around the back side. I tend to run it as loose as possible just to make my life easier when it comes to getting it around the tree. Sometimes I'll even take the strap off and just work with the strap instead of trying to play with the strap while it's connected to this, because that can be a pain in the butt at times. So, god dang, I'm doing great at picking trees that I can work with. There we go, just needed a little bit extra. So I would come to there, once again, tighten that strap, make sure that's about as flush as it'll get. It'll be about there, and then kind of cam that in and let that lock into place. So in that situation, I can already tell it wasn't necessarily as tight as it had to be or should be. Most of it's because I'm working in this locust right here, so it's got really shaggy bark. So just know if you're working in trees with shaggier bark, you might have to do a couple of, double checks. But get it to there, kind of cam that in, and get that to push on these Predator platforms. There's a bolt right here that you can adjust to get more lean out of it. So then what I tend to do is, like I said, I'll do that, and then I'll get to here, and I'll try to put one knee on, having my lineman's belt on to test it, and then take my step up, and I'm set on my platform. Moved over here because a lot of people are walking around with it being such a nice fall day. So I just want to give you a little bit better look at my saddle and a couple of the other pieces of my gear. So this, like I said, is the Method saddle from Latitude. They now have a Method 2 that came out with just a couple of fine tuning pieces on it. Like I had spoke about, these are the little loops that I had added. Like I said, they're just like shoestring, and because of the Versa button on these sticks, it's very simple to get that to hook on there. Of course, I made it grab something, and it'll hang just like that from my hip. So it makes it really easy to get on and off, and it pretty much comes off seamlessly. Once again, this saddle is a 2-panel saddle, which is why I like it so much. It just has those 2 little clips, but as you can see, this top portion becomes more like lumbar support, and the bottom part would be your seat. So it's something to this extent when you're up in the tree. I think I'm actually going to move my pouches down to the other section, only because at the end of the night, when you're trying to get this back clipped into here, they tend to get in the way a little bit. And I think that if I were to move them down to this one, when I tried to get it up here, it would be a lot easier. And they're going to be completely empty when I'm in the tree, so it's not like weight that's pulling on the seat of the saddle. So I think I'm going to move that just for ease of use. This is going to be my second full season using this Method 2, so just like anything, if you're into something, you probably like tinkering with it to make sure that it works out perfect. I really like the new Method 2 that they just came out. I do not have one at the moment, but instead of these clips, there are magnets, so you get rid of that sound. I'm actually just going to add a little bit of grip tape there. I use grip tape on a lot of my stuff. It's super cheap. It's easy to get. If you feel like you need more, you can just run to a sporting goods store or even Walmart a lot of times and get some more. I'm sure stealth strips work great, but I just have never used them because I played a college sport, so I still had a bunch of grip tape laying all around from playing lacrosse, and that's what I used. So like I said, I also moved from the Primal V steps to these Novix mini sticks. Uses the Versa button style. I know people rope mod them, but I just like the cam strap. It's super easy. It's got a loop that goes on one side. You leave this side on right here. The other side goes around the tree. Put the other loop on it as such, and then you would just tighten that down to the length of, or the size of the tree, and cam it into the tree. It's a good amount of bite on these steps here. Probably got about, I'd imagine that's probably about 4 inches off the tree, so it gives me enough to get my feet on it. I do like the double step style just because you can turn your foot sideways and get a little bit more foot contact onto there, and then you don't got to think about it. As you're coming down the tree, you can step either side, and it's a double step, so super easy to use. Like I said, I use the tape just to silence some stuff. So if I were to grab a second step right here, naturally I don't have these all set up to be nice and ready to go, but so these two pieces come together right here, so that would make noise if I didn't have that. But then there's also on the Versa button a little protruding piece that goes into a hole right there, so that's why I have the tape on these two spots for when the Versa button contacts the step, and then I also have tape at the bottoms here for when the other part of the step grabs around the other shaft of the adjacent step. So like I said, I use 4 steps. That's how the package comes. That would be my bottom step because it has the black strap already built into it. I'd stack my other 3. My last one I do leave open like this, so I have the black strap over it, then I wrap the open one all the way around back to the Versa button and tighten it down, and it stays really quiet that way. Finally, like I said, back there I picked up a used Predator platform. I just have 2 of the gear ties on here, just orange ones, really easy to see, really easy to use. I'll use this one to hang as I'm going up the tree, and then this one here I use to either keep the platform closed or keep it from clanking together too much as I'm setting it up. And once again, just another Versa button and cam strap that would go around the tree like such, tighten it, cam it in. I did put a little bit of grip tape on this as well, just to silence it up and give it a little bit more tack for when I'm standing on it. Yeah, that's just how I've done it. White grip tape gets brown from getting dirty, so it gets a little bit of camo to itself as is. And that's pretty much my saddle setup. I go up the tree. If I'm not trying to be quiet, I can probably make it up the tree without setting up my camera gear in 5 minutes. If I'm trying to be really quiet, by the time I set up my camera gear and everything, I'm normally at around 20 minutes to half an hour, and I give myself that half hour in my planning. So this is what I'm using. If you guys have any questions, throw it in the comments section. You can also go to my Instagram and direct message me at Hitting the Dream. It's a great way to get in contact with me. I try to answer everybody the same day, if not the day after. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions you might have. I know that I might not have answered every question here, but most people were just asking the generals of what I've been using. And I hope this helps some of you guys get out there and enjoy the outdoors. So if you have any more questions, like I said, head over to my Instagram at Hitting the Dream. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube at Hitting the Dream, and like it and throw a comment in the bottom if you could, and I'd appreciate it. So thanks as always, and I can't wait to see you hit your mark.